The International Motorsport Federation FIA recently approved the new engine rules in Formula 1. The approval of the plans, which will come into use from 2026, to join Red Bull Racing. Measures to combat porpoising will be in place from the Belgian Grand Prix onwards, after which a new set of more sweeping Formula 1 rules will come into force at the start of the 2023 season. What will be the changes? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Max Verstappen Formula 1 channel, the best place for your daily dose of trending news and updates regarding Formula 1. Before we proceed, hit the subscribe button and smash the notification bell for more exciting updates. Let's get into it. It is already known that Porsche is interested in Formula 1. The rumors have been going around the Formula 1's paddock since 2021, and it seems more than clear that the Formula 1 adventure will start as Red Bull's engine supplier. Porsche had previously revealed that they would take a 50% stake in Red Bull's Formula 1 team starting in 2026. In addition, the German manufacturer will contribute to the construction of the engine, which is owned by Honda until the end of 2025. The new engines will run on 100% renewable fuel and will be a lot cheaper than the current power sources. In addition, the MGU etch will disappear. This is the part that ensures that the heat from the exhaust is converted into energy. Also, 50% of the drivetrain will be electric. In addition to Porsche, Audi is going to make its entrance into Formula 1. It's not yet clear which Formula 1 team the German car brand will join. The manufacturer would become a 75% owner of the Sauber team, which currently runs under the Alfa Romeo name. But that deal has not yet been confirmed. Besides the new engine rules, the FIA also gave approval for a new technical rule for the cars, which should further prevent the bouncing of the cars. After much deliberation, there is now really no turning back. The FIA has endorsed new rules that will take effect from the Belgian GP and a new set of rules that will come into force from next season. Measures to combat porpoising will be in place from the Belgian Grand Prix onwards, after which a new set of more sweeping Formula 1 rules will come into force at the start of the 2023 season. So there will be both short-term and long-term solutions after the FIA decided to intervene after the Azerbaijan GP, during which some teams were extremely affected by porpoising. Starting next season, the floor edge must be raised by 15 mm and there will be an additional sensor to detect so-called porpoising. In the run-up to the Canadian Grand Prix, the FIA then came up with a technical directive which was supposed to ensure that Formula 1 cars would no longer bounce as violently as they did in Azerbaijan. If a car bounced too much, the FIA would require a team to adjust the height, or else they would risk disqualification. Especially the Mercedes of 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton suffered from the bouncing of the cars in the first races of the current season. Meanwhile, the problems at the British racing stables seem to have been mostly resolved. At the last race in Hungary, Hamilton finished second and his teammate George Russell third. So what are the exact changes for the short and long term? Starting with the Belgian Grand Prix, there will be some changes. There will be changes in the flexibility of the floor. It has to be stronger than before at certain points to meet the tests. It will focus on the board under the floor. Mercedes has raised the issue of being in shock by the way some teams handled it. In doing so, they indirectly pointed to Red Bull, which would make use of a gray area in the rules to have a more flexible floorboard at a certain point where there is no measurement. However, Red Bull itself says that these rules will not affect the team. Furthermore, starting from the upcoming Belgian GP, the FIA will indeed start measuring how much the Formula 1 cars bounce. If this remains below a certain level, then the FIA considers the car safe. Also, under the guise of safety, the FIA is allowed to make all these changes without needing permission from the teams. But in the background, the rules have been negotiated, especially when it comes to 2023. Indeed, the rule changes for that season are a bit more drastic. Initially, the FIA wanted to raise the floor edges of Formula 1 cars by 25 mm in order to prevent porpoising. After consultation with various parties, a compromise was found and the floor edges will have to be raised by 15 mm next season. In addition, the diffuser at the rear of the Formula 1 cars is also being looked at. As of 2023, the diffuser throat must be raised and this part must also become stiffer. The FIA emphasizes that this has been carefully looked at so that it does not affect the mechanical parts of the car. The edge of the diffuser must also become stiffer according to new 2023 rules. Finally, there will be an extra sensor that will measure how much a car bounces, so that the FIA can intervene more precisely and with more certainty if a car bounces too much. The Motorsport Federation emphasizes that the phenomenon has become less visible lately, yet they feel that it is necessary to implement these rules because these problems could return or even get worse in the future. The teams that suffer more from the bounce, such as Mercedes, may benefit somewhat from this. Teams that were better off in terms of bouncing are of course less happy about it. Also at Red Bull, they're not waiting for the changed rules. However, team boss Christian Horner is happy that the ride height has not been increased by 25mm as was suggested earlier. It's a compromise and it's something we now have to adapt to next year, Horner said. At Red Bull, of course, they didn't want to change the rules. We had given our feedback. Horner can't say much about the consequences yet. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it's a relatively big aerodynamic change. We have to see what the consequences of this are and what the benefits of this will be. For 2023 though, there is work to be done with the new regulations. The aerodynamics department is still in the dark about the implications of a high-performance RB18. Horner hopes to keep the advantage over the less fast cars. We have to go and find solutions and just deal with it. It's a new challenge and we can't just let it happen. Fortunately, it's not as bad as an increase of 25mm as was originally the idea. Now it's 15mm, which is at least a compromise, Horner said. Furthermore, Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto said earlier that he doesn't think changes to the regulations are necessary. He reasons, if you suffer a lot from porpoising, then you should build a different and better car. That's also the way Red Bull sees it. Mercedes, on the other hand, is more bothered by it and will therefore welcome the changes. He also believes that the rules that will take effect in 2023 are too late. Ferrari is already well on its way to designing the car for 2023. If it does happen, we will try to figure out how to stop it, Binotto said before the rules were established. I have no idea if the regulations would be in our favor or in Red Bull's favor, and I don't care. If you reason this way about every single issue, then everyone is going to lobby for themselves, which is definitely not good for the sport in the long run. So, what do you think about the new rules? Do you think it'll make a big change? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any video related to Formula 1. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.